So we first want to talk to you about arc overhangs. So arc overhangs is a thing that was like a curiosity, and essentially, if you make ever larger concentric or well interlocking arcs, you can make like a little platform. You can extend on this little platform, and you extend on the next platform, and you can make like kind of a bridging structure that has an overhang that we so far have not really seen in 3D printing or without support. Now, first, this was just a curiosity. It was just a fun thing. And people were doing this with full control, or like they were editing the G code themselves, and or just playing around with it. But recently, there was an article on Hackaday. 3DQ made a video that was a response to a CNC Kitchen video, and many, many more people are now playing around with this technology. Now, or this idea essentially. So, um, so there's this moment for arc overhangs, right? And but maybe we could actually get a much more mileage out of this, and maybe people could consider, like for example, think about like support. And for some parts, maybe we can just use this arc overhang to bridge certain structures and to tie them together to have to support them less. Or maybe we can just make new structures entirely. No one's made like the lion head or whatever the model that really makes this kind of thing like something that everyone will want to try or want to at least attempt. Um, but I like that this is like a new potential kind of a way of making, bridging structures and making structures with really bright angles and significant overhangs hanging parts on it. I don't know what's going to happen with it, but it's nice to see how many people are jumping on board this and are kind of yeah, maybe building this technology. It's nice to see how many people are trying this stuff now as opposed to a while ago. So that's really cool. Really cool. The next thing is the Light 3DP Gen 2. This is a MSLA printer. It made by Alfredo Bonini and others. It works on the 405 nanometer wavelength, and it is open source, right? And kind of it's meant to be hackable, and it is also incredibly adorable. If you look here, the build volume is 36 by 48 by 80 millimeters, and the thing itself is only 100 by 100, 165 millimeters. So it's super tiny. It's meant to really be something that people can play with. It's meant to be something that people can experiment with. It's meant to be something that's, yeah, in essence, hackable. Now, there is some open source SLA, like the Prusa SL1 and stuff like this, but really generally, the open source community has not had a lot of stuff to play with compared to all the stuff they're doing in material extrusion, FDM. There hasn't been a real test bed that has been stable enough and at the same time open enough and fun enough and affordable enough for people to really kind of dare to play with that polymerization SLA. And maybe this is it. This looks, really compact, really affordable. It looks like a lot of fun as well. It looks as well like it's something that could be extended upon. It's something that you could build something around if you wanted to do something completely crazy. There's been very, very little technology innovation or open source technology innovation and in that polymerization, and something like this could change this. Now, there's also some kind of quirks in it, I guess. You could have a thing naked without any kind of like enclosure or something that would be a bit problematic. There's no fans on it, so it's supposed to cool and keep cool without them. And also, your display is your mask. Now, you can make your own external display, obviously, but in its most basic spare iteration, the mask, the photo mask, the mask is actually also your display. So when the thing is printing, you can't actually look at your display. You'd have to pause the print to see how long the print's going to take, that kind of thing. But that, of course, does cut down significantly on costs. I love this kind of quirks. And, it's time for us to have something that we can really play with on the open source front with that polarization. It's time for us to have like a kind of a test bed for a lot of people to really try stuff and to really innovate with. And I think if you look at the models coming off of these vat polymerization printers, a lot of people are just wowed by them, and they're just like, well, okay, this is it. And a lot of people might think this is a small build volume as well, but hey, this is actually for a lot of the applications that you would want to do with vat polymerization, like dental crowns and rings and casting and plating and all this kind of stuff. This is a fine size to do a lot of stuff. So I hope that this thing will be, shared open source, as they say it will be, and it would be a great test bed for a lot of people to play with the SLA at home. So thank you so much for your time. My name is Joris Peels, and this is another edition of 3D Printing News Unpeeled. Have a great day.